Give me 1 second here. I'm going to share this to a few folks. Let's get started. All right. What's up, Norman? I'm going to go ahead and get started because I had a long day. I'm tired. I'm trying to keep it to about an hour. Phone service is working better right now. Anybody with a wrench in here yet? We are discussing qualified immunity tonight. We're not necessarily discussing. We're just going to be reading some case law that pertains to qualified immunity and things that make you disqualified for immunity. Again, this is never legal advice. I'm not an attorney. Don't ever want to be one. We're just reading tonight. So we're going to start off with an oldie but goodie. The Constitution of these United States is the supreme law of the land. Any law that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void. That's Marbury v. Madison, 5 U.S. 137, 1803 case. No state legislator or executive or judicial officer can war against the Constitution without violating his undertaking to support it. The constitutional theory is that we, the people, are the sovereigns, the state and federal officials only our agents. That is Cooper v. Aaron, 358 U.S. 178, Supreme Court, 1401, 1958 case. The judicial branch has only one duty: to lay the article of the Constitution which is involved beside the statute which is challenged, and to decide whether the latter squares with the former. The only power the court, has is the power of judgment. U.S. v. Butler, 297 U.S., 1936 case. Excuse me, I got a big bulletin board here in front of me with all kinds of shit. I'm trying to keep it organized. Vague laws offend several important values. First, vague laws may trap the innocent by not providing fair warning. Second, vague law impermissibly delegates basic policy matters to policemen, judges, and juries for resolution on an ad hoc and subjective basis, with attendant dangers of arbitrary and discriminatory application. And third, where a vague statute abuts on sensitive areas of basic First Amendment freedoms, it operates to inhibit the exercise of those freedoms. That is Grayned, Grayned versus City of Rockford, 92 Supreme Court, 2294, 408 U.S. 104, 1972 case. It is the duty of the courts to be watchful for constitutional rights of the citizen against any stealthy encroachments thereon. Boyd v. U.S., 116 U.S., 616, 635, 1885 case. The courts are not bound by an officer's interpretation of the law under which he presumes to act. Hofsummer v. Hayes, 92 Oklahoma 32, 227 F 417. Do it, Randall. If you find one, I'll buy you a case of beer. A judge is not the court. People versus Zajic. Zajic. That's 88 Illinois Appeal Court, 3rd, 477, 410, NE 2nd, 626, 1980 case. The claim and exercise of a constitutional right cannot be converted into a crime. Miller v. U.S. 230 F. 2nd, 486, 489. Where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. Miranda v. Arizona, 384 U.S. 436, 1966 case. That would be Miranda rights, Miranda v. Arizona. No state shall convert a liberty into a privilege, license it, and attach a fee to it. Murdoch v. Penn, 319 U.S. 105, 1943. In pursuing substantial state interest, the state cannot choose means which unnecessarily burden or restrict constitutionally protected activity. Dunn v. Bloomstein, 92 Supreme Court, 995, 405 U.S. 330, 1972 case. Government may not prohibit or control the conduct of a person for reasons that infringe upon constitutionally guaranteed freedoms. Smith v. United States, 502 F. 2nd, 512, 1974 case. An individual may not be punished for exercising a protected statutory constitutional right. U.S. v. Goodwin, 102 Supreme Court, 2485, 457 U.S. 368, 73 LED 2nd, 74 on remand, 687 F. 2nd, 44, 1982 case. A state cannot foreclose the exercise of constitutional rights by mere labels. Bigelow v. Virginia, 95 Supreme Court, 2222, 421 U.S. 809, 1975 case. Waivers of constitutional rights. Not only must they be voluntary, they must be knowingly intelligent acts done with sufficient awareness. Brady v. U.S. 397, U.S. 742, 748, 1970 case. If the state converts a liberty into a privilege, the citizen can engage in the right with impunity. Shuttlesworth v. Birmingham, 373 U.S. 262, 1969 case. The individual may stand upon his constitutional rights as a citizen. He is entitled to carry on his own business in his own way. His power to contract is unlimited. He owes no duty to the state or to his neighbors to divulge his business or to open his doors to an investigation, so far as it may tend to incriminate him. He owes no such duty to the state, since he receives nothing therefrom beyond the protection of his life and property. His rights are such as existed by the law of the land, long antecedent to the organization of the state, and can only be taken from him by due process of law and in accordance with the Constitution. So, when a citizen challenges the acts of a federal or state official as being illegal, that official cannot just simply avoid liability based upon the fact that he is a public official. United States versus Lee, 106 U.S. 196, 220, 221, 1 Supreme Court, 240, 261. Oh, Randy, none. Sovereign immunity does not apply where government is a lawbreaker or jurisdiction is the issue. Stage of the proceedings, and also may be challenged after conviction and execution of judgment by way of writ of habeas corpus. U.S. v. Anderson, 60 F Supplemental 649, D.C., Washington, 1945 case. A departure by a court from those recognized and established requirements of law, however close, apparent adherence to mere form in methods of procedure, which has the effect of depriving one of a constitutional right, is an excess of jurisdiction. That's West v. West, W-U-E-S-T, both spellings. 127 P. 2nd, 934, 937. When a judge knows that he lacks jurisdiction or acts in the face of clearly valid statutes expressly depriving him of jurisdiction, judicial immunity is lost. That's Zeller v. Rankin, 101, Supreme Court, 2020, 451 U.S. 939, 68 LED, 2nd, 326. Where a court failed to observe safeguards, it amounts to denial of due process of law. Court is deprived of jurisdiction. Merritt v. Hunter, Court of Appeals, Kansas, 170 F. 2nd, 739. When a judge acts where he or she does not have jurisdiction to act, the judge is engaged in an act or acts of treason. U.S. v. Will, 449 U.S. 200, 216, 101 Supreme Court, 471, 66 LAD 2nd, 392, 406, 1980. However, that's citing Cohen's v. Virginia, 19 U.S. 6 Wheat. It's WHEAT 264 404 5 LED 257 1821 case. Again, when a judge acts where he or she does not have jurisdiction to act, the judge is engaged in an act or acts of treason. A judge is not the court. The courts are not bound by an officer's interpretation of the law under which he presumes to act. It is the duty of the courts to be watchful for constitutional rights of the citizen and against any stealthy encroachment upon them. So, under federal law, referring both to the objective and subjective elements, we have held that qualified immunity would be defeated if an official knew or reasonably should have known that the action he took within his sphere of official responsibility would violate the constitutional rights of the plaintiff, or if he took the action with the malicious intention to cause a deprivation of constitutional rights or other injury. Harlow v. Fitzgerald, 102 Supreme Court, 2727 at 2737, 457 U.S. 800, 1982 case. Where there is no jurisdiction, there can be no discretion. for discretion is incident to jurisdiction. Piper v. Pearson, 2 Gray 120, cited in Bradley v. Fisher 13 Wall 335 20 LED 646 1872 case. Under federal law, which is applicable to all states, the U.S. Supreme Court stated that if a court and orders are regarded as nullities, they are not voidable, but simply void, and form no bar to a recovery sought, even prior to a reversal in opposition to them. They constitute no justification, and all persons concerned in executing such judgments or sentences are considered in law as trespassers. Elliott v. Pearsall, First Petition 328, 340, 26 U.S. 328, 340, 1828 case. No man in this country is so high that he is above the law. No officer of the law may set that law at defiance with impunity. All the officers of the government, from the highest to the lowest, are creatures of the law and are bound to obey it. It is the only supreme power in our system of government, and every man who, by accepting office, participates in its functions, is only the more strongly bound to submit to that supremacy and to observe the limitations which it imposes on the exercise of the authority which it gives. U.S. v. Lee, 106 U.S. 196, 220, 1 Supreme Court, 240, 261, 27, LED 171, 1882 case. What's up there, James? Okay, so qualified immunity is basically where someone qualifies to be immune. Sometimes they don't qualify. To take away all remedy for the enforcement of a right is to take away the right itself, but that is not within the power of the state. Poindexter v. Greenhow, 114 U.S. 270, 303, 1885 case. As long as a defendant who abridges a plaintiff's constitutional rights acts pursuant to a statute of local law which empowers him to commit the wrongful act, an action under the federal civil rights statute is established. 42 United States Code annotated 1981 et sequential, as well as Laverne v. Corning 316 Federal Supplemental 629. The language and purpose of the Civil Rights Act are inconsistent with the application of common law notions of official immunity. Jacobson v. Henne, Henne, 325 F. 2nd, 129, 133, United States Court of Appeals, 2nd Circuit, 1966 case, as well as Anderson v. Nosser, Nosser, 428 F. 2nd, 183, United States Court of Appeals, 5th Circuit, in 1971. What's up there, P. Barnes? You're like the best motherfucking player on my team. Government immunity violates the common law maxim that everyone shall have remedy for an injury done to his person or property. Fireman's Insurance Company of Newark, New Jersey versus Washburn County. Immunity fosters neglect and breeds irresponsibility, while liability promotes care and caution, which caution and care is owed by the government to its people. Rabin v. Rowan Memorial Hospital, Incorporated. Governmental immunity is not a defense under 42 United States Code 1983, making liable every person who under color of state law deprives another person of his civil rights. Westbury v. Fisher, 309, Federal Supplement 95, District Court of Maine, 1970. Judicial immunity is no defense to a judge acting in the clear absence of jurisdiction. Bradley v. Fisher, United States, 13 Wall, 335, 1871 case. When a judge knows that he lacks jurisdiction or acts in face of clearly valid statutes or case law expressly depriving him of jurisdiction, judicial immunity is lost. Rankin v. Howard, 633 F. 2nd, 844. When a judge acts intentionally and knowingly to deprive a person of his constitutional rights, he exercises no discretion or individual judgment. He acts no longer as a judge. 7 at 567, 1967 case. When a state officer acts under a state law in a manner violative of the federal Constitution, he comes into conflict with the superior authority of that Constitution, and he is, in that case, stripped of his official or representative character and is subjected in his person to the consequences of his individual conduct, and the state has no power to impart to him any immunity from responsibility to the supreme authority of the United States. Scheuer v. Rhodes, Scheuer, 416 U.S. 232, 94, Supreme Court, 1963, or 1683, 1687, that's 1970, in consequence of a breach of any of the duties connected with liability for nonfeasance, misfeasance, and for malfeasance in office is in his individual, not his official capacity. Second, Section 57, Civil Liability. Tort and Insurance Law Journal, Spring, 1986, 21 N3, page 509 through 516. Federal tort law. Judges cannot invoke judicial immunity for acts that violate litigants' civil rights. Robert Craig Waters. Title 18 United States Code annotated 241 and 242 are the criminal equivalent of Title 42 United States Code annotated 1983-1985. Judges have no immunity from prosecutions for their judicial acts. Bradley v. Fisher, United States, 13 Wall, 325, 1871 case. Judges may be punished criminally for willful deprivation of rights on the strength of Title 18 United States Code annotated 241 and 242. Imbler v. Pachtman, 424, United States, 409, 96, Supreme Court, 984, 1976 case. There is no judicial immunity from criminal liability. Shore v. Howard, 414, Federal Supplement 379. A judge is not immune from criminal sanctions under the Civil Rights Act. Ex parte Virginia 100 U.S. 339, 1879 case. State officials acting in their official capacities, even if in abuse of their lawful authority, generally are held to act under color of law. This is because such officials are clothed with the authority of state law, which gives them power to perpetuate the very wrongs that Congress intended Section 1983 to prevent. Ex parte Virginia 100 U.S. 339, 346 through 347. Judges are not absolutely immune from liability to damages under Civil Rights Act 42, United States Code annotated Section 1983 and 1985. Peterson v. Stanzik, 48, FRD 426. Actions by state officers and employees, even if unauthorized or in excess of authority, can be actions under color of law. Stringer v. Dilger, 313 F. 2nd 536, United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit, 1963 case. All right. So, the 5th edition of the Law Dictionary in the Barron's Educational Series by Stephen H. Giffis. Fraud is intended to, and which does cause one to execute an instrument or make an agreement. The misrepresentation involved does not mislead one as the paper he signs, but rather misleads as to the true facts of a situation. And the false impression it causes is a basis of decisions to sign or render a judgment. Fraud, in its elementary common law sense of deceit, includes the deliberate concealment of material information in a setting of fiduciary obligation. A public official is a fiduciary towards the public, and if he deliberately conceals material information from them, he is guilty of fraud. McNally v. U.S. 483, U.S. 350, 371 through 372, quoting U.S. v. Holzer 816, F. 2nd 304, 307. Fraud and deceit may arise from silence, where there is a duty to speak the truth, as well as from speaking an untruth. Morrison v. Coddington, 662, P. 2nd, 155, 135, Arizona 480, 1983 case. Knowing failure to disclose material information necessary to prevent statement from being misleading or making representation, despite knowledge that it has no reasonable basis in fact, are actionable as fraud under law. Rubenstein v. Collins, 20 F. 3rd, 160, 1990 case. Silence can only be equated with fraud when there is a legal and moral duty, to speak, or when an inquiry left unanswered would be intentionally misleading. We cannot condone this shocking conduct. If that is the case, we hope our message is clear. This sort of deception will not be tolerated, and if this is routine, it should be corrected immediately. U.S. v. Tweel, 550 F. 2nd, 297, 299, 300, 1977 case. A party and interest may become liable for fraud by mere silent acquiescence and partaking of benefits of fraud. Bransom v. Standard Hardware Incorporated, 874, SW 2nd, 919. That's a 1994 case. Ex dolo malo non orator actio. Out of fraud, no action arises. Fraud never gives a right of action. No court will lend its aid to a man who founds his cause of action upon an immoral or illegal act, as found in Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition, page 509. Fraud destroys the validity of everything into which it enters. Nudd v. Burroughs, 91 U.S. 426. Fraud vitiates everything. Boyce v. Grundy, 3 Petition 210. And last but not least, my favorite, fraud vitiates the most solemn contracts, documents, and even judgments. Fraud vitiates judgments. Fraud makes judgments as if they were never fucking made by a judge. As when, basically, when the police lie under perjury and the prosecutor co-signs this shit and your public defender doesn't say anything like it's fucking lawful, it's called a fraud upon the court. And every one of these motherfuckers is able to be sued. Fraud vitiates the most solemn contracts, documents, and even judgments. U.S. v. Throckmorton, 98 U.S. 61, 1878 case. So, who all we got in here? Seen somebody with a wrench. Oh, El Bay, trying to make me a Moor, huh? So what's with the sovereign citizen shit? I get the, like, I could understand why. Now I'm a Moor. What's up there, Dimmer? Which the Moor thing's a bit of a stretch, but you know, whatever floats your boat, I suppose. I thought the sovereign citizen accusations were hilarious. Being that I insist upon a bunch of laws being followed as opposed to running around saying that they don't apply to me. I insist that because they apply to me, they apply to you, and they apply to, you know, all 5 judges in my county, and they apply to the police in my town. I think the law applies to everybody. I think sovereign citizen is when I claim that the laws don't apply to me because they're a bunch of made up bullshit, which that's debatable, I suppose. Anyway. Well, Bill Smith, here's the thing. This is my take on the sovereign citizen accusations by trolls. So it seems to only be by trolls. It's not by, like, you know, the police don't accuse me of being a sovereign citizen. And I'm sure my local dipshit hillbilly cops have been brainwashed into thinking that they're running around everywhere. But anyway, when you start to, you know, grow up and realize that the suits and ties downtown are fucking robbing everybody in your town blind, and that you can participate in this, and you start to learn the law. Essentially, if you know your rights, you know, specifically any of them, you're immediately questioned as, where'd you go to law school? Did you get your law degree on YouTube? You know, something of this nature, because you're expected to know the law, but you're not expected to know the law. It's trippy. It's this is very similar to religion, to where you know, I can talk to God all day, but if God talks to me back, I'm crazy. I can pray repetitively all day long and not get anywhere with it, and that's the literal definition of insanity. But if someone says that God responded, that's when they're crazy. This is the same way with the law. It's forced upon you. You're expected to know it. They'll send you shit to your fucking house, updating you on when laws are going to change, things of this nature. But if you actually tell the people, like police officers or government officials, that you do know some of the law and you like to participate in discussing it, they treat you like either you're A, fucking crazy, B, trying to cause a disruption, or any other number of things. And part of this is because if you participate, eventually you're going to fucking see that something is awry. You know what I mean? If you go and watch your government and you choose to try to be involved in any way, shape, or fashion, you're gonna fucking notice in a very short amount of time that they're fucking everybody over, and they don't have a problem with it at all, because it's a fucking club and you're not in it. Everybody has their local good old boy club, and this is who runs your fucking show. So anytime you get involved and you notice something's wrong, as soon as you basically open your fucking mouth to sort of point it out and ask that they fix it, you know, most people are very naive that it's always been this way and it's probably always going to, and you know, people like me are fighting a losing battle. But anyway, you know, if you if you get to saying anything too honest, they will either sue you, This is called SLAPP suit, strategic lawsuit against public participation. This is a very common thing. If you're not, if you have anything in your background, any sort of skeletons in your closet at all, it's much easier to incarcerate you or pull the he's a crazy person card, because despite that you're talking about the fucking law, people don't care about that because most people don't know the fucking law, and they just trigger people's emotions, and that's basically turned into a huge red flag. And First Amendment auditors are a problem for corrupt small town governments. Very, like, they have no fucking clue what the First Amendment is, usually in small towns, and they do not want you filming. They don't want you doing anything to do with their public records. They don't want you coming to public meetings, shit like this. If you're going to do anything, that's why your trolls are basically, if you have a page and you start getting a view, like, all right, my trolls coming around calling me a fucking sovereign citizen all the time did not really start until my view count started going way up. The more attention you get, the more the way they're gonna make you, the more attention you get, the more they're gonna try to make you look like you're a threat or aggressive or something of this nature. Like, they've been playing the I'm some sort of a violent threat card in response to a lot of what I've been doing for years. And it's, ink pen, pieces of paper, asking for copies, carrying a camera. It's all these things are just tactics to make you look like a problem or look like you don't have any validity to what you're saying, because people don't know the law and they can associate you with a group of people who are making up laws and shit of the, they're based, like, the sovereign citizen movement started years ago, years and years ago. Like, I was in prison over a decade ago with sovereign citizens. I went to federal prison. I was locked up. Interesting theoretical shit to read. Me quoting that, you won't ever hear me talking about gold fringe or spheres and globes and bullshit like that. Like, what I mean? Like, if I was going to try to fucking, talk about bullshit law, I'd rather talk about ecclesiastical law, because I don't think a judge is a court martial on a ship. I think it looks more like a fucking priest. That's why I'm there to confess my sins, and that's why this motherfucker's wearing a robe, and that's why he says all rise, because if you're going to get into a level of law that sounds a little bit delusional, add Jesus into it. Get the churchy shit. Fuck that admiralty maritime law bullshit. Go with the ecclesiastical law, because then it's like you get like clergy shit and what a deacon is and things of this nature. Then you can compare everything to a bunch of other nonsense, and it's but anyway, the sovereign citizen thing is just like, it's just another tactic. It's associating one group of people with another group of people so that you can do a guilt by association thing. First Amendment auditors look like they're spouting off a bunch of nonsense if you think that they're sovereign citizens that are known for spouting off a bunch of nonsense that's not actual law. So it's just that's just my take on it. But it's no different than, like, with the Black Panthers. They had they would snitch jacket these people. It's called a bad jacket, and they basically, it's how they got the leader killed, is they ended up basically misinforming his own people that he had worked against them with the people that the information was coming from, to where his own people pretty much killed him. So it's like that's it's nothing new. If 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 you don't get any, if you don't get any flack like this, if you don't have it coming from all angles, you're probably not doing anything right, to be honest. So the more trolls you have, the more fucking people that you have trying to fucking halt what you're doing or interfere with it, the more likely it is that you're on the right fucking track. But like I said, I had a long fucking day. I was moving furniture fucking till like a couple hours ago. So 45 minutes. Yeah, a lot of shit comes out of the Bible. The Bible is actually just a codex. It all starts in like 3500 BC, and it's consistent, like law. All laws based upon contracts between two individuals starting from like 3500 BC, which is incidentally when about the first rape is recorded in history. So depending on how you look at it, government creates rape. Law creates rape. Prove me wrong. Anyway, I'm fucking done. Enjoy the live feed. As always, stay safe out there. Safety first, then teamwork. I'm gone. Thanks for showing up, Bill. James, thanks for modding. To my trolls, thank you guys much. If any of you guys are local, as always, I'll meet you in the front yard. There's no reason to set at the police station in your supervisor's basement on the computer, making like that. Like I said, trolls are always welcome. Yeah, that's it, John Doe. Short show tonight. I'm fucking wore out, and I ain't had time to watch nobody else's videos as much as I'd like to. So I don't have like a fuck the police quote of the week right now. I know they're trying to wrap up indie blue news for like all kinds of dumbass shit. Been getting charged with something new every day for like 3 or 4 days now. But he get some good reading material here soon. But his videos are chock full of fuck the police quotes. It's New Chicago, Indiana, and I think they got, like I said, they got one paid officer. I think is the chief of police. Everybody else is a volunteer, so they have no idea what the fuck's going on. Half of them are probably fucking adopted kids or some shit. Who knows? But yeah, like I said, I didn't really have too much time to. How much snow are you supposed to get? We're supposed to get here soon over the weekend. A good bit of snow actually. So that's why I was actually moving shit all day. Because the individual I was helping was trying to get it all done before the snow hits. So he's about to be snowed in, moving furniture around in his new place. So, but yeah, it's supposed to get a good bit. I don't mind. I'm a true Indiana boy, and I like all 4 seasons. The snow is beautiful, kills the sound for all kinds of shit, and as a bird watcher, I get a way better view. What's up there, Maui NBA? I had an all right week, slow and steady. Oh, by the way, I didn't get a chance, but a couple people hit the PayPal. with undisclosed amounts of money. You know who you are. Thank you very much. It's appreciated. Probably will get me some new SD cards. Need to get me a another half a terabyte drive, I think. But maybe a few other things with the printer. But like I said, appreciate it very much. Every little bit makes a difference. I don't ask nobody for nothing, but if you know if this is your thing and you want to help somebody out, I appreciate it, and I don't mind putting the money towards this kind of thing at all. I've been putting my own time and energy towards it for a long time. So if you want to chip in, more than appreciate it. Your money's gonna fuck some shit up. Just so you know, it's well spent here. Um, that being said, till next week, I might try to get me a. Yeah, I got a little bit of gear there, Maui. I'm thinking about getting me a like a GoPro or something soon. I got a nice little Nikon camera. It's a little bit older, Nikon Coolpix, but it's durable and I like it and it's comfortable with it. It's my backup. But the phone ain't enough. You know what I mean? I gotta hold it too much. I like being able to do shit with my hands. So I'm probably gonna get me a GoPro or some shit. But here soon. I'm a I'm a frugal individual, so I like to see if I can't catch deals on shit and stuff like that. Just because it's snowing outside doesn't mean I'm about. I got Monday morning. I got some shit I gotta go request. So we'll have some more regular old videos like what everybody's used to here soon. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys get off of here. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.